My brother, 26M, is cheating on his long-term girlfriend, 26F, of 8 years, she doesn't know but I do. Parents refuse to act on it. Need some advice please. Hi guys, just to preface this, we are not from the States, but a rather conservative country which was pretty patriarchal in my parents' generation. This might be pretty long. In November 2014, my mom, 56F, found a card that my brother left lying around from a girl, that was most definitely not the girlfriend we all know, celebrating their first month together. At the time, confronted him and he claimed that it was from a long time ago and he was intending to trash it. She bought the story, I did not and have been suspicious since. Also because his behavior preceding the period of time was becoming increasingly suspicious, more late nights, sometimes out for the whole night with no word. My father's take towards this whole incident is that of, they're adults, they have to be responsible for their own actions. It's not your problem. I was torn then, and decided not to tell the girlfriend at the insistence of my parents to keep out of it. I am not particularly close to the girlfriend. Fast forward to last night, around midnight my brother got home, and I was going to take out the trash before going to bed. Step out of the house to see the other girl, 2226F, standing outside. I have no idea what their plan was, maybe he was going to sneak her in. I also have reason to believe this wouldn't have been the first time. I know it's the girl because she included pictures in the card/letter thing we found from November. It's the same girl. After overcoming the initial shock, I decided to invite her in, just to see how she, and my brother, would respond. She refused with nervous laughter. At this point my brother rushed out of his room, looked at me, then returned wordlessly back to his room. The girl now was beginning to retreat down the corridor of the apartment block towards the elevators. He then emerged again with a book and announced, "Here, this is what you wanted to borrow, right? You're what a poor ruse." At this time he left with her and did not return till almost an hour later, probably contemplating their next move and cover story or whatever while sending her home. My father, 56M, was still awake, so I told him what just transpired, that my brother is using my father's car. Cars are really expensive here, to carry out his transgressions, and is just an all-around shitbag. My dad sticks to his "they are adults, it is not your problem" shtick, and I tell him you are facilitating his nonsense by letting him continue and letting him use your car for it, to which he responds, "I'll take care of that." I must also say that the communication between my brother and the rest of the family has been degrading for a while now. Him and I barely even speak anymore, even prior to this, and he does not respect my parents enough to engage with them properly or at least keep them up to date with his life, with his graduation and work and all, despite them paying for his college education. He never sees himself in the wrong and always has some harebrained explanations to justify himself. He has supposedly graduated, but there was no ceremony, and any queries about any form of documentation of his degree has been continually deflected. I get that my parents want to treat him like an adult and respect his choices, but he is taking their respect for granted and treating them like idiots, and I resent that. After last night's incident, my mom has taken to parroting my dad somewhat, that there is no point talking to him, so he has to be responsible for his own actions. Now I know the obvious solution from you guys would be to tell the long-term girlfriend. Some background about her: they've been together at least 8 years now. She is a teacher with a fairly heavy workload, teaching in the equivalent of high school level, so she can't be the one out spending late nights with him 4 to 5 nights a week, especially not on school days. They have made concrete plans both contractually and financially to get a place together in the next few years. She almost ended things with him but ultimately forgave him once earlier in their relationship, maybe 3 to 4 years ago, for what I believe was also cheating transgression. I too believe that telling her is the right thing to do and is only fair to her, but I am concerned it will tear my family apart. If I do tell her, I don't see my brother reacting in any other way than to blame me for it, and my parents would be angry and upset for me stepping out of my place and causing unnecessary trouble. I just want my brother to reform and stop living lies, and to stop letting my parents down. My mom is pretty torn up over everything, but she can be weirdly irrational and overprotective of her son, even going so far as to blame the girls around my brother instead of my brother himself for his transgressions. I don't know, What do you guys suggest? TL, Doctor, brother is cheating on his 8-year girlfriend with whom he has put down the initial payment for an apartment. Not his first transgression, GF forgave him for first one, which happened a couple of years ago. My conservative parents know of this recent one but refuse to act on it. They are adults, let them deal with it themselves. Obvious answer is for me to tell her, but that risks causing family trouble. PS, hope this isn't too confusing and is relatively clear. Hi guys, I promise to love you if you like, comment, and subscribe. You need to talk to your brother. Sit down and talk. Don't be accusatory. You don't want him to back away and just get defensive. Explain what you're concerned about. Hash it out. If he denies and you have absolute proof, tell him. If he doesn't tell the girlfriend, you will. If he ends up marrying his girlfriend, do you really want to carry his dirty secret for the rest of your life? As for the parents, they will do what they feel best. You can't change their minds. Look out for your future family, and speak with your brother. Best wishes in everything. If you can find evidence, don't know how you can go about finding it, you can anonymously send it to your brother's girlfriend. I gotta say, if I were being cheated on, I'd want someone to tell me. I don't agree with the "it's none of your business" logic. If you know for a fact he's cheating, and you have evidence to prove it, I'd tell her. Just like how I'd appreciate someone telling me. Put yourself in her shoes, what would you like? My 28F husband, 28 meters, cheated on me. I left him. Our divorce became final 6 days ago. I hate him, but I also still love him, and I feel like I'll never get over him or the cheating. Throw away because I do not want this on my main account. My 28F husband, 28 meters, cheated on me. I left him and our divorce became final 6 days ago. Even though he cheated and it broke my heart, I still love him and think about him every day. I don't know how I'll ever get over him or the cheating. We met when we were 18, got engaged when we were 19 and got married when we were 20. I know we were young and dumb, but we were in love. At least I was in love with him and he said he was in love with me. He treated me well and there was never any issues with him doing stuff like saying awful things or alcohol or staying out all night while I was home. He never hit me or did anything like that. My family and friends liked him and supported our relationship. His family treated me well. We are from more blue-collar families and it's common for people to get married young. I loved him and wanted to be his wife. He was from a city in the same state as my hometown, but it was a few hours away. After we got married, I moved to his hometown. I found a job as a waitress because that's what I did in my hometown. He worked in construction. The wedding money helped us buy a small house together. Things were good. I loved him and loved being married. Last year I found out he had cheated on me. He didn't tell me, but I got an STD and I had never cheated on him. I didn't tell him, but I was honestly brokenhearted. I cried so much that I almost got sick. I even tried to convince myself there must be another explanation. I hired an investigator, but nothing came up there. We were on a couple's plan for our cell phones and I was able to look at his texts, and he had texted this girl about how he couldn't see her again because he was married, and she texted him later to tell him she had an STD and he needed to get tested. The texts made it seem like a one-night stand, but I wasn't sure. I also found a video on our cloud of them fooling around. He never told me about the STD, but I know he went to the doctor for it. I filed for divorce. It was on the 7th anniversary of our wedding and the 9th anniversary of the day we first met. I packed my clothes and my cousin, 35F, came and picked me up. I didn't even stick around to see him get served with the papers because I just wanted to get out of there. I also left my cell phone behind and deleted my email account and Facebook. I really wanted to be away from him. I quit my job the night before and left when my husband was at work. I didn't take any money from the bank or anything besides my clothes and things, and I left the credit cards and other stuff. My cousin had an apartment in her basement and she let me live with her. My husband tried calling my family after he got served, but they all just hung up on him. I found a job and started paying my cousin some money to help because she took me in. I only went back to our hometown for court and didn't talk to my husband or anyone from there otherwise. I only saw him in court. I was awarded a fault divorce because there was proof he cheated. The court ordered our house and the car I used to get sold as part of the divorce. After the sale, our debts had to be paid off and then the remaining profit got divided. I got more of the profit because he cheated, not a lot more but some. I also got a bit more because he got to keep our other vehicle, a truck. Our bank accounts were closed and the money was divided between us as well. The divorce became final 6 days ago on what would have been the 10th anniversary of the day we met and the 8th anniversary of the day we got married. I still love my husband and I think about him every day. I have probably cried every day since I found out he cheated on me. He swore in court it was only one time, but that was enough to break my heart. I am still not over my husband or the cheating. When the divorce was final, I cried so hard I got sick. I have not seen him since I left except in court. I have not talked to him at all. I have only been back to that city for court and I have not set foot in the house since I left. I haven't talked to anyone else from the town since I left. Just after the divorce became final, I moved out of my cousin's place and into my own apartment. I love my cousin so much for taking me in and I will owe her forever. My parents and brother and other family were also so good to me and supportive. I used the money I got from the house and car sale and the bank account to pay my lawyer. The rest I used to enroll in college. I start in the fall and it's a 2-year program for business, bookkeeping and restaurant management. The rest of the money from my divorce will be gone, but I won't have any student loans and I can work in the evenings and on weekends to pay my bills. I am so nervous about going to college. I've never went to school after high school. I met my husband in the summer right after high school. It has been a year since I left. But I still love my husband as strong as I did on our wedding day. I think about him all the time. I think about the day we met, our first anniversary when he proposed, our wedding and us being married. I feel empty when I come home and he isn't there. My family says I am strong for leaving and now living on my own and going to school, but I feel weak. He cheated and gave me an STD and I wonder what in hell is wrong with me because I still love him. TL, doctor, my husband cheated on me and he gave me an STD. I left him. Our divorce was final 6 days ago after 8 years of marriage and 10 years together. Even after all he did, I still love him and think about him every day. I don't know why I'm not over him and the cheating, and I wonder what's wrong that I still love him. Sorry this was so long and rambling. I started typing it on my tablet yesterday, but I was crying too much. Well, for starters, I just want to say how much I admire your strength. So many people couldn't do what you've done, and it really is impressive how much self-respect you've shown yourself. Well done. Secondly, it sounds like you're doing everything right. You're staying no contact and starting school. That's really healthy and great that you're beginning a new chapter and improving yourself. That's fantastic. Third, I suggest you start getting into as many new activities as you can manage, especially exercise. This is really cliche, but exercise really does help. I highly recommend yoga and kickboxing. Fourth, realize that moving on from this is going to take quite some time. It's only been 6 days since your divorce was finalized, so you're kind of in the thick of it right now. It's going to hurt like hell for a while, but someday it'll start to get easier and easier. So keep on keeping on. Finally, I suggest therapy. You've been dealt a big betrayal. That's definitely traumatic. A therapist can help you learn how to trust again and help rebuild your self-esteem. I'm so sorry. It sounds very painful. I think when most people fall out of love, it happens slowly. They start annoying you or you start to resent them, and it just festers. The end of a marriage is often years in the making. So even though he hurt you terribly, it makes sense that you still love him. The end of your marriage happened all at once for you. You can love someone and not forgive them. What you want isn't to be able to forgive him. What you want is for him to have never cheated, which can never happen. You need to give yourself time to grieve a marriage you loved and the future you thought you had. Just take it a day at a time. Your new future is exciting, and it's something to look forward to. Thank you everyone for all the supportive replies and messages to me. It means more to me than you will all ever know. Thank you so much, you are all wonderful.